Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about a little something a little different. Today we're going to be helping out the little man, all the new people to Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare is the newest addition into Call of Duty, the franchise, this year. And with the pandemic and everything going on, not a lot of people have a lot to do, let alone work, but to sit around and play games all day. All the systems are sold out, and a lot more people are stepping into games as a escape for entertainment, sitting at home all day. So we're going to be talking about the little man here, the people who's just picking up the game, because this game has had a couple of free-to-play games, free-to-play days, and all that other stuff to bring more new aspiring people into Modern Warfare. And today we're going to be breaking down some things, some starter things, what you have to do and what you have to worry about doing when you first come into a game like this. And it's a new game, and this is one of the most expansive and customizable Call of Duties there ever was for its time. I do say that this Call of Duty actually matters with attachments, loadouts, and the way you play as a person. So, what exactly are the things that you need to worry about if you're a new player? Well, if you don't already know, skill-based matchmaking is a huge thing. If you haven't researched the game already, skill-based matchmaking is one of the biggest things and the hottest topic in multiplayer today. Not a lot of people like it, some people do like it. To combat the skill-based matchmaking, if you're a new player, you won't be worried too much about the most advanced skilled people coming through, running through your pockets, and stealing all your loot and killing you 24/7. What you would worry about is increasing your own skill. Now, if you are a seasoned Call of Duty player, this video may not be for you, but if you learn anything, be very gracious and appreciated if you give the video a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel so you can learn a whole lot more new things while we break down Modern Warfare. Number one, when you come into the game, make sure you have a gun that you enjoy using. A lot of the older Modern Warfares and all the older Call of Duty still feature the weapons that people like. Here we have a timeless SMG, one of my favorite SMGs, and all the MP5, MP7. I believe it's the MP7. I think it's the MP7. The MP5 is more popular in the game, but I personally like using the other variant myself. Now, the first thing when you come in here, you want to control your recoil. Recoil control is one of the most advantageous staples in a first-person shooter. If you haven't already played a first-person shooter, controlling your recoil will decide the gunfight and decide a good player versus an experienced player. If you run up on someone and just completely let your trigger go and just let it fly into the sky, it's not much you can do about that. It ain't much. You're not hitting anything. You're flying your shots all the way up, and you don't want to be a Randy. You're pretty much becoming a Randy at that point. Now, to eliminate the Randy situation, you're gonna want to control your recoil just a little bit. And attachments itself isn't the only thing that can help you control your recoil. Alrighty then, had a little bit of a hiccup there, but yeah, one other thing, the game really isn't that optimized. Game's really having a little bit of issues, but other than that, let's get back into the flow. Now, controlling your recoil, like I said before, is extremely easy. Now, there's some things that you can do to control your recoil to make sure your shots are more consistent. Now, the gun that I'm using right now is set to have the lowest recoil possible, but as you can obviously see, if I don't hold my thumbstick or control my thumbstick at all, it still has recoil. So, how exactly do you get your recoil to match up and make your gun become a complete laser? It's a few things. Some things you can do completely and utterly free of charge from your pockets is pulling your thumbstick down just a little while you are firing automatic weapons. What I mean by that is you take the thumbstick, your right thumbstick that you were using to look around, And while you're shooting, you ever so slightly pull that thumbstick down just enough that you can get your recoil as accurate and as precise as you possibly can. And as you can see, most of the bullets have hit the target instead of being way up here. You can hit a lot more shots and secure a lot more headshots that way. The more in-game touch that you can do is you can customize your weapon with attachments. And the attachments that I have on here is a lightweight suppressor, the FS Recon, the Merc foregrip, the 60 round mag, and no stock attachment. Now beware, some of these attachments do have drawbacks. That's why I said Modern Warfare is one of the most customizable and expansive game when it comes to their attachments, that you have to pay attention to what you're doing to your weapon. Some of the attachments do increase aim down sight speed, which is also imperative when you're playing a first-person shooter, but some of the attachments also give you drawbacks as to recoil control and all the other stuff. But if you are good at naturally controlling your recoil with a weapon with no stock, which weapons with no stock, yes, you can move a lot faster, but your recoil control will be a little more crazy. But once you get the natural recoil control down, you can negate the negative effect of not having a stock. Now, the more pro way to go, if you don't mind spending a little bit of money to increase your aim and overall be a better player, acquire Control Freaks. Now, beware, this is not a sponsored video, so I'm not obligated to gas these people up like other people are. I'm a little too small to have sponsors right now, even though they be great. But Control Freaks are little thumb extensions that you put on your controller to increase the height of your thumbsticks. I have them on both, but you don't need them on both. You just need them on the thumbstick that you feel more comfortable putting them on. Now, if you put them on both, it will increase the radius of your thumbstick to make it a little more comfortable. Now, they will increase your game time a little more, so they'll decrease the strain on your thumbs from longer gameplay sessions. Yes, of course, they are going to feel extremely weird when you do use them the first time. But when you get used to them, and there will come a time where you won't be able to use the regular stock thumbstick. The regular stock thumbstick is extremely short on the controller, and it has a little more tension, especially from a new controller that you just bought. It's fresh out the box, nice and stiff. You're going to have some tension on that thumbstick. And with longer game sessions, it's a shorter travel time, which means your thumbs are going to be a little more strained and a little more tired at the end of the day. Next, one other thing I need to mention, when you first come to the game, there's some different elements on the screen that you may have not seen from other Call of Duties as to the compass. If you play Battle Royales or anything like that, you will see the compass on the top of your screen, and that would be very familiar. People who played Fortnite in the past or PUBG will know the compass is an imperative thing to realize which direction anyone is coming from or call-outs to give to your team. Now, the mini-map is the same as always, but it is a little different when you first come to the game. You may notice that my mini-map is square. If your mini-map is square, I personally believe that you can see a lot more of the mini-map and a lot more of those corners that would normally be cut off if you are using the default circle map, so it gives you a little more free range of seeing things. Now, as far as the compass goes, the compass gives you the same amount of information, if not more information, than the minimap does. Yes, the minimap gives you orientation on where you are currently on the map. So there's a person around this corner. It will blink a red dot if they are shooting or they're standing there not doing anything, so you should be anticipating a gunfight there. But to look at the minimap and understand what the minimap is telling you, there are several things that happen on this minimap and the compass. Say there's someone around this corner and they are firing over in this direction. If you see that, the way to tell if someone is one, the sound. You're going to hear them shooting their gun, regardless if they have a suppressor or not. Sometimes, yes, they will hide their position on the minimap, but they may not hide their position on the compass. That's why you have to pay attention to both when you're playing the game. Now, if they're firing and they're very close to you, it's going to be a bright red diamond at the center, right where it says Northeast Courtyard Right above that, it's going to be a bright blinking diamond above that at the center point of your screen. If you are facing the general direction of an enemy, so that there's an enemy there and there's a red dot above 63 degrees at courtyard, you know that there's a person directly in front of you and you should be prepared for a gunfight. If you're running around the corner and you see a bunch of blinking red dots in this general vicinity, you should know two of several things. One, this is where their spawn is. You should be anticipating people from coming from different ways. Now, the maps are a little different. It's not the traditional 3-lane way you're used to in older Call of Duties if you're just now playing Modern Warfare. But this one is a little bit more 3-lane. It's one of the favorites. So you have the main lane and the 2 side lanes. Then in addition to those, you have ways that you can climb up on top of things and get the advantage on people on B flag or anything like that. So if you're coming from your spawn and you see a bunch of diamonds over there, you should be anticipating someone being there or even up here if they have the skill and the know-how to get up there. Anticipate those 2 places, and if you don't see anyone, make sure you move accordingly and position yourself in the best position possible to win those anticipated gunfights. Third thing I want to mention is when you are encroaching on your first victim of the game and you're ready to secure your first kill, second kill, or third kill, whichever it may be, and you're turning corners. How exactly would you want to turn a corner when you know there's an enemy around the corner? Well, unfortunately, the way this game is set up, it kind of supports camping and waiting, unfortunately. But there are ways that you can negate that. If you don't run around corners willy-nilly like you don't have a head and someone chopped your head off and you're running around like you're crazy, you can kind of get the advantage. People like to mount on things. The addition of mounting in the game, if you've played Rainbow Six Siege, yes, this game wants to be Rainbow Six Siege so bad and I have no idea why. But someone can stand here and mount on this corner and have the utmost 0 recoil possible and have the advantage on you if you're running around that corner. That's not what you want. Yeah, it's an insane head glitch because they lower their center of mass and they mount on the wall and they completely have you stuck in that corner. That is a favorite mounting spot, either there on top of the wall or right there or even in this corner right here. They will mount wherever they can get it. So what exactly do you do when you're rushing or doing anything like that? You don't want to be caught in your super sprint. Super sprint is another addition to the game, and it helps you close the gap a bit faster. You know that you're super sprinting when your weapon barrel is pointing to the sky. You can both do it with LMGs, assault rifles, SMGs, and snipers. They both look the same, and your weapon will be pointing in the sky, and you will increase your movement speed for a short duration. You never want to do that around a corner. You can, however, do it to close the gap if necessary. If you know that you've pushed an enemy back far enough and you feel like they are reloading, you can super sprint a little bit and catch them off guard to close the gap a bit faster. Not a lot of people are going to expect you to push on them. Some do, so they throw an explosive and catch you off guard like that as well and get that kill. But you want to close that gap as fast as you possibly can. Now, coming around corners like that, that is not what you do, because people pre-aiming, people sitting in corners, doing all this wild stuff just to secure a kill, and it's so easy for them to do. What you normally would want to do, yes, you're power sprinting around a corner, but when you get to a corner, you normally want to stop and center your camera. Center the dot in the middle of your screen in a position that you believe that an enemy is going to be around. When you hit the corner, you're sometimes going to want to pre-aim that corner and expect someone to be there. If you don't have the white dot in the middle of your screen looking at where you think an enemy is going to be, or you're anticipating someone to turn around that corner, at least have your eyes on that position, and maybe you can get lucky enough to snap on that person instead of just running around the corner. You want to be the one catching them power sprinting around the corner. You don't want to be the one getting caught power sprinting. All right, I believe this is number 4. One other thing I would like to mention, this game really has a very long unnecessary reload speed at times. And if you know first person shooters, how intense they can get, every single second counts of every single animation that you do. So what's the best animation cancel that you could do in this game to maximize kills and not get you killed? Not so much. Well, the most apparent thing that I can think of is the reload speed. Reload speed is super slow, especially when you completely run out of ammo and you don't have ammo left in your gun. You gotta do all of that just to get back into a fight, let alone pulling the bolt back and doing all this other willy-nilly stuff, and whoever's there that has a brain around that corner is going to push you harder than life itself. So you need to be prepared for that. So how are you going to prepare for that? There are several audio cues that you want to listen to. If you have a good headset, you can listen to these audio cues pretty well. There's 2 clicks to almost every single gun that you want to listen to. The first click is taking the magazine out of the weapon. The second click is actually putting the magazine in. You don't exactly have to complete the animation to completely fill your magazine. You only have to complete half the animation. Let me demonstrate. While you were shooting and you reload to go through the whole entire thing to put your magazine back. Now, pay attention to the bottom right corner of the screen of my ammunition right there, and pay attention to how small the animation can be if you realize how long it takes for the ammo to register in your clip. Just like that. It's a little different to other guns. We get into bigger weapons that inherently have a longer time to reload, like an AR, an M4, or anything like that. Yes, the reload is pretty long, but you can downsize that by sprinting after the second click happens. Once the magazine makes it into the gun, you don't have to continue any long unnecessary reloads. You don't have to super sprint, but you just have to initiate the first initial sprint. The standard Call of Duty weapon to the side sprint. That's all you would have to do. So when you're in the middle of reloading, just sprint. It'll completely cut down your reload. So if you're gunning people down over here and you're gunning people down over there and you need to reload real quick, you could even sprint against the wall and it won't cancel it. You don't have to sprint completely out of the way. You can use the wall in front of you. As long as you get the sprint animation off, it will cancel the reload. Now, what else can you cancel? Well, you can cancel your reload and you can also cancel your super sprint. Now, what exactly would canceling your super sprint do for you? Canceling your super sprint will extend the time that you have it. Additionally, without the double time perk, you have about 4 seconds of super sprint before your character gets tired, even though he is a well-trained special operative in the military. But, hey, you got 4 seconds of that until you have to wait until the cooldown is done. How exactly do I extend that? Well, use a little bit of animation cancel along with it. Now you initiate your super sprint, and what I like to do is completely let go of the left thumbstick just a little. While you're super sprinting, let it go. Now you're holding your left stick forward. You are completing the motion that is necessary to activate said super sprint. You don't have to be in the super sprint the whole entire time, but you can still close the gap and still be ready just in case someone peeks around a corner without you realizing it. Your gun will at least be down fast enough for you to get some shots off. Now, if you're super sprinting, it will drastically cut down your ability to ADS while you're in the middle of super sprint. I see people do it time and time again, and they wonder why they get gunned down so fast, even though they're still aiming. Because that person was ready, and you weren't. You can practice it yourself. Activate your super sprint and let go of your thumbstick. Do that in a complete line and see how long that you can go and keep the flow going. Now there's other things that you can do. You can cancel it with a slide. Yep, You can cancel it with a slide hop, just like this. But this, I normally do this in Warzone, but sliding is also back in a Call of Duty, and it's pretty strong. You can slide and keep it going. It's up to you. You can slide cancel with letting go your thumbstick, or you can slide cancel like this. Now, it may be a little hard because you're like, hey, how am I going to be able to push all those buttons on my controller while keeping my thumbs on the thumbstick? Well, unfortunately, that's where more money comes in, but there's good news. You can do it for free by changing your settings. The controller settings in your button layout, or one of these, probably your button layout, yeah. Your button layout and your stick layout, you can change those up to use the traditional bumper jumper if you are familiar with that. You can switch your bumpers around. Instead of your bumpers being your specialist ability, your bumpers can be your jump. And you can use that to jump or slide whenever you like, or for the people that still play claw, you can do that as well, and it's absolutely free of charge for you. But if you want a little easier of an approach, again, this is not a sponsored video, but I use a SCUF controller on Xbox. The difference between a SCUF controller and a regular controller is the paddles on the back. I have two paddles. One is for jumping and one is for sliding or crouching. And that allows me to completely... And they do cost a pretty penny. I got my SCUF controller for about $150. So if you really want to go that extra mile and get a little bit better with that, you can purchase a SCUF controller. There's other controllers as well that you can purchase, but I personally like SCUF. I've had this for years, and it's still pretty good. One last and final thing. Sound. Sound in the game is imperative to anyone that wants to know or should know if someone is running up behind you or getting the drop on you. But unfortunately, in this year's Modern Warfare, the sounds in the game are a little odd, as to a lot of the sounds in here are extremely unnecessarily loud. Specifically the kill streaks. Some of the kill streaks are bleedingly loud, and you don't want to have your game too loud. At the same time, you don't want to have it too low. My audio settings are 85 at the master volume, music volume completely down because you don't need that stuff, to be honest. Dialogue volume at 40. You don't want to be running around and someone screams in your ear that they're reloading because they told the whole entire team that you're at a disadvantage and you're going to get rushed. So it's a little unnecessary. Your effects volume is 100%. Everything else is disabled. Everything else under that is completely personal preference. I can recommend Astro A40s if you got the money in your pocket. But a notable replacement, because I don't have my Astros yet, notable replacement is the HyperX Cloud Alphas, the headphones that I am using right now. It is a very close second to Astro A40s or Astros. And in general, Astros are top of the line game audio, the 100% quote unquote sound horse setup come from Astros. I do have an Astro A40 Mixamp TR that also pairs with another headset. If you really want to go down that road and you want to be the best, and you can hear people across the map, an Astro A40 Mixamp and another really good headset, the HyperX Cloud Alphas, are a really good combination. They do work with other headphones. You don't necessarily have to have an Astro to use the Mixamp. The Mixamp can allow you to hear more party audio or game audio and all turn it down from just one single interface. Here I do have it plugged up on my desk. There's different sound cues. It's Dolby surround sound, all that good stuff. You go look it up, search it up. It's a really good addition. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something new for all the new players coming into Modern Warfare this year and following times we are up against in this world today. And any seasoned player, if you also learned something new that you did not learn, I hope you enjoyed it. Before, if you did learn anything, I would appreciate if you give the video just a small like and subscribe to the channel so you can learn a whole lot more stuff. Here is my stats of the time of recording this video, and you can deem necessary yourself if you would like the video, or if you would take my information or my experience playing Call of Duty to heart, if I am valuable enough to you to continue to watch. I really hope me and my information was valuable to you. I hope this video and the information was valuable to you or anyone that you share it to or receive it from. If anyone on your squad just needs a little more help or a little push or something they're not understanding, share the video to them and spread it all around. Just don't spread too much and end up ruining more than already is. You guys stay safe out there. Stay at home. Work out those thumbs. And I'll see you guys next time.